More than 1 million people have already cast their ballot in the midterm election. Now, that is a major milestone, and we are still nearly 2 weeks out from Election Day. For some perspective here, this is a 70% increase over what we saw at the same time during the last midterm election in 2018. 11 Alive's Jerry Carnes at the C.T. Martin Rec Center, one of the most active polling places in Fulton County. Jerry, people are not playing. They are getting out there strong.
Good morning, Aisha. They are indeed. In fact, polling sites just like this one are seeing crowds on par with what we saw during the 2020 presidential election. That's according to Georgia's Secretary of State, who says despite the heavy turnout, there have been few long waits and problems have been rare. He expects there to be more records shattered as we get closer to Election Day on November 8th. For many voters, it just makes sense.
We all know the long lines on Election Day. You can stand in line for 4 hours, and I just stood in line for 30 minutes and was able to partake in the same thing.
Andrew Winchell is one of more than 1 million Georgia voters that have had their say early.
Because I'm going to be out of town on Election Day, and I want to make sure that, my voice counts.
Georgia is a key battleground state with several tight races. The balance of power in the U.S. Senate could come down to the decision of these voters. Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger says new technology like the ballot tracking feature on his office's website has encouraged turnout.
Every eligible voter has the opportunity to vote using the method that is the best for them.
Raffensperger says his office is still dealing with issues left over from the 2020 presidential election.
We do expect continued misinformation and disinformation. Unfortunately, that comes from all sides. Politics being politics. I would put our Georgia election system and our voter experience up against any other state in the union.
Now, the Secretary of State's office tells us that polling sites are the busiest early in the morning, at lunchtime, and then in the evening. So if you want to avoid crowds, go during off-peak hours. The last day to apply for an absentee ballot is this Friday. Early voting ends on November 4th.